Hi guys, this is Desiree of the Succulent Therapy. We are back again with another video. This time we will talk about aphids. First of all, what are these aphids? They are small soft-bodied insects that feed by sucking the nutrients out of your plant. They can appear on any type of plant that you can grow, like for example the fruits, vegetables, trees, cacti, succulents, and others. Which is why it is important that you keep an eye on them, because in large numbers they can weaken your plant to the extent that they can kill them. Okay, so we are going to talk about some of the things that we can do to lessen their number, or if they're gotten out of control, we can talk about some of the things or remedies that we can do in order to get rid of them. So the first step that you want to do is to check your plants if there are any aphids visible. Various species can appear with some colors of white, black, brown, yellow, light green, and others. Some of them might want to cover their body with woolly coating or some wax. There are a lot of varieties of them out there. Other aphids wants to feed on specific type of plant, like for example, there are some rose aphids, some cabbage aphids, some eggplant aphids, but one thing that they have on common that they have in common is they want to feed on the new growth or new shoots. So it's important that you check your succulents rosettes or your plants leaf for any presence of them. So let's take a look at this string of dolphins as an example. You can see that aphids had been staying on this new growth right here because this is where they could easily dig in. This shoot in here is really soft. Their leaves are soft, so it's kind of food for them. Okay, so how can you tell that your plant has aphids? So the number one hint, which is common, is the presence of ants that feeds on honeydew. Honeydew, this is a sugary substance or liquid produced by the insect as a waste, which ants loves to feed on. This honeydew can even encourage a fungal growth. So if they're gotten out of control and they produce a lot of honeydew, they can encourage fungal growth like sooty mold. This sooty mold is like the black appearance of some black spots on the leaves or branches of your plant. So another one is when you notice that your plant starts to discolor, especially with cacti and succulents, when the leaves and stems start to turn yellow. You might want to check your plant's leaves because they like to hide underneath that leaf, mostly close to the stem. Aside from cacti and succulents, some other plants like vegetables, fruits, flowers, and trees may suffer from the same insect. You can see some of the hint like curling of leaves, some yellowish new growth, and on some fruit-bearing trees, you can see that some of the fruits are distorted. This is caused by the aphids feeding on them. So you might want to treat that one before it gets really bad. Moving on to number 4, some aphids may settle on the roots of your plant. So if you spotted some of them, you might want to brush the roots of your plant and then rinse them with water. Also, don't forget to rinse the pot that they used to be planted on and then air dry them for about a day. After that, you may go on and plant them to another soil and throw the soil that they used to be planted on in order for the aphids not to crawl on the uninfected plants that you have. Okay, let's talk about prevention. How can you prevent aphids from going to your plant? Number one, I've really recommended this a couple of times already. You may have heard me saying it on my past videos. It is that I keep my propagations really watered at least every other day because I don't want some aphids hanging in there, and so I keep them moist. The fact that my propagations are still young, the leaves and stems are so soft, they are a perfect food for aphids. That's why keeping them moist will keep the insect away from your propagations. You can also do this on your mother plants. You can water them at least once a week in order for them to keep moist for the rest of the week. Also, don't forget to clean the bottom part of your succulent. Don't let the dried leaves hang in there for a long period of time because it could be the nesting part of the aphids, and you don't want that. And so let's move on to number two. This is the use of beneficial insects like some ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps that feed on aphids. This can be bought on some nursery shop or some plant nurseries, but if your nursery doesn't have one, you can attract some bugs by planting some flowers in your garden. Um, Preferably the simple flower or the one petal flower. They'll love that. It will attract the beneficial insects, and then will go on and spot those aphids and then will eat them. You can also repel some of the aphids by planting some insect repellent that can help, like some garlic, some chives. You can plant them beside or place them on the plant that you want to protect. They'll be very good with that. I have some garlic in here, and I keep them really close to my propagation. Uh, they're really good for repelling some aphids, and you can see that uh, there are no aphids or some insect in there because they just don't want the smell. Okay, so number three, another thing that I've tried is the use of 70% alcohol. It has to be 70% so that it is strong enough to dislodge some of the aphids. And if I happen to spot a single or two aphid, I'll just grab my spray bottle with alcohol and spray them with it. And then after that, I'll wait for another 15 minutes. Then I'll go ahead and rinse them with water. It is important that when you do this, when you spray some alcohol, you don't let them sit on a direct sunlight because they may burn. So you might want to put them into indirect sunlight for at least a day or two, even if you rinse the the alcohol already, so that you may prevent some sunburns happening to your succulent, and you don't want that. Finally, we're going to talk about how to get rid of aphids if they're getting massive and you don't know how to deal with them already. Here are the things that you can do. Number one is to spray some water added with dishwashing liquid. Here I got my 1 liter spray bottle. It's filled with water already. Then I added a tablespoon of dishwashing liquid. You wouldn't want to add more than that because that will be enough to kill your plants. So it has to be a liter of water plus a tablespoon of dishwashing liquid. That will be enough. If you ask if what is the reason why do we use soap, it is because this soap produces bubbles that will drown the aphids, and so it's strong enough to dislodge them. Okay, so after spraying them with dishwashing liquid, you can go ahead and rinse them with water, or you can put them into a place that they couldn't be reached by direct sunlight, so that they will not burn. You can do that also. Number two is the use of neem oil. I have used it a couple times already, and I had really great experience with it, as long as you know how to use it right. There are a lot of products out there, so it is important that you read the instructions carefully that is written in there, so that you know what measurements should you put. And it is also important that you wear your proper attire, like some masks, long sleeves, and some gloves. And number three, the use of diatomaceous earth. It is an organic material that kills aphids. Remember the ants that I told you about a while ago? Diatomaceous earth can also help to lessen their number. However, if you are achieving natural pollination, avoid applying this on plants that is in bloom, because it can kill some pollinators. Okay, so that's it for our video for today. I hope that I have explained it well, and I hope that this video is informative. I apologize for my voice because I am having cold right now. It's really cold in Baguio, and it's constantly raining, and it's this time of the year that I get really sick for about a month. That's not really normal, but it's really cold out here, and I have to bear with it. And so thank you so much, you guys, for watching. I hope that you have learned something from it, and so I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.